Welcome to our class. English listening practice for 15 minutes. The story of a small village in Bangladesh. At the heart of the village lived an old man named Abdul Karim. Though his beard had turned silver and his back slightly bent, his eyes still sparkled with stories. Children called him Dodu, and every evening they gathered by his veranda. To hear tales of jinns in the forest, talking animals, and vuats that sailed the clouds. Karim had been a schoolteacher once, when the village had only one classroom under a banyan tree. Now retired, he spent his days tending to his garden, sipping tea with neighbors. And jotting thoughts into an old, leather-bound notebook. But what the village didn't know was that Karim was waiting. Waiting for someone to finish a story he began many years ago. The story had started with a dream. A boy from the village, destined for greatness. Would rise, not just to bring prosperity to Sonogram, but to connect it to the world beyond. Karim had believed it was his own son Harun who would fulfill that dream. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. Harun had left for Dhaka at 18 to study engineering. Letters came for a while, full of hopes and city wonders. Then one day, silence. No one knew what happened. Some said he had drowned in the Padma on his last visit. Others whispered of a factory fire in the capital. Karim refused to believe either. He left a lamp burning every night by the window, believing Harun would find his way back. Years passed, seasons changed, and the village aged with Karim. Children grew, married, and moved to other towns. A few returned during Eid or harvest, bringing gifts, wrapped in city brands. Yet Karim stayed, his notebook growing, thick with pages, filled by the light of that unwavering lamp. Then come Anika. She was 10 years old, with curious eyes, and a laugh that chased butterflies. Her family had moved to the village after her father. A banker in Chattogram had a stroke. Seeking peace and healing, they returned to their ancestral home in Sonogram. Anika, unlike most children, was fascinated by silence. She sat for hours under trees, listening to birds, followed ants to their colonies. And watched the river until stars blinked awake. She also loved stories. When she first heard Karim tell one, she ran home. Dragged her mother by the hand and said, "He holds the sky in his mouth." Karim chuckled when told. "No, little bird," he said, "just old wind in my lungs." But a bond formed. Every evening, Anika was the first to arrive and the last to leave. She asked questions, added endings, and sometimes disagreed with the morals. Karim didn't mind. He began reading her the story he had started years ago about the village boy and the dream. "How does it end?" she would ask. "I don't know yet," Karim admitted. "Maybe you will tell me." One monsoon morning, the river grew wild. Rain poured for days, swelling the Padma, until it claimed the outer fields and crept toward homes. The villagers worked together, stacking sandbags, moving animals. And cooking for those whose houses were lost to the water. Anika's father, still recovering from his stroke, couldn't help much. Her mother volunteered at the community kitchen. Anika ran messages and brought supplies. She saw unity she had only read about in her textbooks. One night, exhausted, she sat beside Kareem, who held her damp hand. And said, "Even the fiercest river cannot wash away the kindness of hearts." Then he coughed, a deep, racking cough. That was the night he fell ill. For days, Kareem lay in bed, feverish. The village doctor did what he could, but they lacked medicine. Anika refused to leave his side. She read from his notebook, fed him rice water, and wiped his brow. But he grew weaker. One afternoon, as the rains quieted, he whispered, "Little bird." I must give you the rest of the story. She leaned close. The boy who would bring change was not one person. Kareem said, "It was a seed in each of us. And you, Anika, have it. Promise me, you'll write the rest." The goose, meanwhile, continued to lay its single golden egg each morning without fail. She promised. That night, Abdul Karim passed away, the lamp by his window still glowing. The village mourned. For 3 days, no stories were told. But on the 4th evening, Anika climbed onto Kareem's veranda and opened his notebook. She began, once, in a village, by the Padma, a child held the sky in her hands. With her earnings, she built a library in Sonogram, named after Abdul Karim. It had books in Bangla and English, solar panels for light, and a storyteller's corner with a painted mural of Karim under the banyan tree. Children gathered there, just as before. And in the evenings, when the breeze carried scents of river and rain, Anika would read. Thank you for watching.